What is going on? We are here talking about the Miami Dolphins and how they have failed once more to do anything in the playoffs. And TYREEK Hill is a guy who's starting to get up there, and he kind of said he's going to retire at the end of this contract. So for TYREEK Hill's purposes, is this time to call it and demand a trade out of Miami? Let's talk about this. So if you don't know, TYREEK Hill and the Miami Dolphins just got eliminated yesterday and disgrace pretty much against Kansas City, 26-7. They couldn't do anything offensively, and this kind of boils down to what a lot of people say is Tua's just not that guy. I wanted to give Tua the props. I think he will be a starter in this league. I mean, he's been good enough, but he's kind of closer to that Mitch Trubisky level guy, who obviously Trubisky's not starting, than Lamar Jackson or Justin Herbert, I guess, would be kind of a low-end top-tier starter. So at that point, you really start thinking here, if you're Miami, is this the guy you want to lead this team? Because realistically, he's not going to get you very far. Either injuries, which happened last year, which caused Miami to get knocked off in the first round, or he's just not going to be very good in the playoffs like this. And people are like, well, the weather kind of sucked, but Patrick Mahomes didn't really struggle throwing the ball too much in that weather. He had more drops than anything, which is nothing new at Kansas City, and will be kind of why they end up falling out at some point. But, honestly, this was just not a well-played game by Miami in any way, given shape, or form. It was just bad all around. And a big part of that was Tua. And honestly, some of the play calling was a little bit weak. They kind of just, I don't know, they looked like they were trying to play with a backup quarterback or something, because they didn't throw the ball very much, or at least not deep. They ran the ball a lot on first and second down, getting into long third down distances. This just seemed bad play calling. I think Mike McDonald got out-coached by Andy Reid, which isn't hard to do. Most people do get out-coached by Andy Reid. But I still don't think it was a great coaching job on his part. I don't think it was anywhere near a good game for Tua. And I think if I'm Tyreek Hill, I'm sitting here realizing I might only have a handful of years left. If I'm actually being serious about retiring after this contract, is it worth me staying here in Miami and not making it out of the first round of the playoffs? I might want to go out and win another Super Bowl. Honestly, I think Tyreek Hill could broke the yards record this year if he had somebody other than Tua throwing the ball, because Tua can't play against real opponents. They were 1-6 as they lost in the playoffs to Kansas City against opponents with winning records, and their one win was against Dallas, who's 1-5 against winning a record opponents. So neither guy, I think they won too because they won that bullshit game in Detroit, but still, neither team can win against winning opponents, so, shockingly, that's the one Miami pulls off. But at the same sense, is now you made the playoffs 2 years in a row, and you were easily first-round exits. Hell, Skylar Thompson last year put up a better fight. They almost had Buffalo on the heels. And that's the other thing I gotta sit there and think about, talking about the weather thing. You play at Buffalo once a year, you have to be good at playing in bad weather. If you play at Buffalo at the end of the year when it matters most, like they didn't this year, they got lucky they played in Miami. But if that game was in Buffalo, they didn't stand a chance. They even lost in Miami, but it would have been even worse if they played in Buffalo. So, in my opinion, I like Tua, and I hope he succeeds somehow. But I think Miami and everybody else knows that they have to move off of him because they're not winning a Super Bowl with Tua Tagovailoa. Which brings it up, does Tyreek Hill demand his way out? Because, honest to God, if I'm Tyreek Hill, I want to win another ring, and I'm watching all these other teams succeed. These wide receivers getting what they want. He can ask out anytime he wants, and I think he gets traded. Now, where would I think he goes to? That's hard to say because there's not a ton of great wide receivers, or not wide receivers, but landing places with salary cap. I think, honestly, Green Bay. They're an upcoming team. Jordan Love has looked good. I think he lands in Green Bay and makes them better. Now, granted, I don't see Tyreek really demanding out. I think he loves playing in Miami. I think he loves being in Miami. He loves McDaniels. I think he likes Tua. He's putting up crazy good stats. But at the end of the day, it's do you want to win another ring? Because you're not winning it in Miami as long as Tua is your starting quarterback. And if they move off of Tua, then you're really not winning one, because then you're going to restart, and it's going to take a year or two to get another good quarterback in that system. So they're kind of stuck in a weird spot, and it might be best for Miami to trade Tyreek and get all the draft capital they can for Tyreek Hill. But I don't know what their plan is here, because honestly, this roster just doesn't look good enough to truly compete for championships. defensively either, to be fair, but it was pretty injured. But I just don't think Tua is the guy. And if I'm Tyreek Hill, I'm sitting here like, is Tua my guy? Is he the guy who's going to win me another championship? And honestly, I don't see it. I don't see Tyreek Hill actually demanding out because he quite likes playing in Miami, and he's been. But you never know. Something's going to click in that brain. You're like, damn, is this really worth me staying here? I mean, we just got killed in the playoffs for 2 years in a row. What's going to happen next year? We choked away our division because we can't beat a real opponent. What's next? I mean, a couple weeks ago, they had a chance to be the 1 seed. They lost out. They didn't win a game after that. And honestly, they find themselves in this weird position to where it's kind of like, are we even good? You know, I mean, is Tua good enough to win us a championship? Which, honestly, no, he's not. I think Tua is one of those guys who is kind of like, probably better than a Mitch Trubisky because he's proven that. But he's kind of in that range of guys who really just isn't good enough to win a championship. But Miami's stuck in a weird spot because with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Ramsey, Bradley Chubb, it's hard to make that move to move off of Tua and then rebuild at quarterback, because if you do that, then these guys aren't going to want to be on the team. And I think, honestly, the starting move for Miami is to move Tyreek Hill because they have to do it at some point. And right now, I think this is the best chance to. I think you just have to call it. This isn't going to work. Honestly, this is a huge quarterback draft class. You got guys who you probably get in the later picks, or you can honestly, just honestly go with it there. I mean, J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix might be dropping after his performance. You could trade forward a bit. You know, there's Bo Nix. He might be kind of in that mid 10 to 15 range if you trade forward for him. There's also Jordan Travis. There's a lot of options in this draft class, and I think, honestly, if I'm Miami, I'm thinking about it right now, because I'm thinking, is Tua the guy? Am I about to pay that man $40 million to not win a playoff game? And honestly, he's only played in one playoff game. I get it. But they're not been very good. They wouldn't have won a playoff game last year either if Tua was behind center. They might have even played worse because he clearly can't play against real opponents or in bad weather. So that's my thoughts about it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'm going to do a deeper dive in these playoffs. On Tuesday will be when the video goes up once all the games have been played. If you guys enjoy this type of content, hit that follow, subscribe button. I'll see you in the next.